June 2nd. He humbled you, causing you to hunger, and then feeding you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had known, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Deuteronomy 8:3. The vast number of Israelites who had been delivered from slavery in Egypt now faced another crisis: starvation. Possibly the stores of food they had brought with them from Egypt when they left hurriedly had been used up. There was no sign of food in the desert to which God had taken them, and, as was already becoming a pattern for God's people, they grumbled and complained. But God had a plan. He was humbling His people, that is, deliberately causing them suffering, in order to teach them an important lesson. They had to trust Him each day for provision, for food that was unique to them, provided in a manner that was supernatural. But that was only part of the lesson. In fact, it was the minor part. Peter Pett puts it like this: they had to forget what they had done in the past and look to Him for their provision. They had to depend daily on what He had promised to give them, what came from His mouth. And He had done this in order that they might recognize that life is not dependent only on bread. They had to learn that bread is not everything. His purpose was that they might learn that they must receive their provision from His mouth. They must recognize that all that they had came from Him and resulted from His promises. He had wanted them to recognize that it is what Yahweh says and what Yahweh commands and what Yahweh promises that is the basis of life, so that they might recognize that obedience to Him is all. His aim was that they learn the vital lesson of hearing God and trusting Him in all circumstances. God wants us to trust Him, not just for our physical and material needs, but even more for spiritual nourishment. Manna came from God's mouth, in a manner of speaking, and fed their bodies. In the same way, all that proceeds from God's mouth, that is, His word, has been given to nourish every aspect of our lives. Today's decree: we do not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord.